Hi everyone, I'm Jimin's pinky toe. This is kinda weird because I'm a BTS fanfiction account, not someone that does unpopular opinions, but hey, I don't care, I can do whatever I want, this is a free country. I'm Canadian by the way. Anyways, that's not important. I'm gonna give a disclaimer before I start with my spicy, maybe a little controversial unpopular opinions. So disclaimer, these are my opinions, not yours. You're just listening to them so you don't have to agree. If you do, that's amazing, I love you, but if not, that's okay too, we all have opinions. I just ask you, if you don't agree, don't go off in the comments, because 1, I'm good at arguing, so I'll probably comment back, and I don't want to get into a fight with someone, and 2, it's just dumb. Because you should have clicked this video with the idea in your head that I might not have the same point of view as you. The thumbnail should have given you a little taste I was gonna talk about, so if you didn't like the things I had to say on there, you shouldn't have clicked this video. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. I've been holding in these opinions for a while, so I'm so happy to finally let some of these out. PS, if you're already my subscriber and you click to see what I think about some things, please don't get mad at me and unsubscribe, lol. So unpopular opinion number 1, standing BTS doesn't feel the same anymore. Okay, so right out the gate, a one that might get me jumped. I don't care what anyone has to say, you rather agree with this or say you don't, but deep down inside low-key feel the same way too when I say standing BTS doesn't feel the same anymore. I mean, like, I kinda feel like I'm standing a whole other group than the one I did almost 4 years ago. I got into BTS at the end of 2016 and it was when they were just starting to get big, but back then they were more open free, they had various content, they would dance to girl group songs, talk about other girl groups, post funny vids of themselves like their old Dub Smash videos, and BTS Run was actually fun to watch. Back then they were just more carefree and crazy, they were just more fun to stan. I still enjoy standing them, but it's just not the same anymore, they're just overall more reserved because of how big they are, and now I know a lot of people feel this way. A lot of people have left the fandom, even some of my real life friends have slowly just stopped liking BTS. I've always loved BTS's music and they've done so much for me, so I'll never really leave them, but unless they say fuck it and be like their old selves again, I don't know if standing them will ever be the same. Think about it, all they do now is post normal selfies, do a boring live once in a while, and then post an anticlimactic BTS Run episode. Like, does anyone sit through a whole BTS Run episode anymore, or are you like me and just wait to see a few funny parts on Twitter or Instagram now? My next opinion is that Kpop has went downhill. This opinion kinda relates to my BTS opinion. Kpop just feels different now. Most of EXO is in the military with the rest nowhere to be seen. The iconic Kpop crackheads GOT7 are chilling and barely active. Blackpink appears once every full moon. Twice is chilling somewhere. BTS probably chilling, planning their next world tour. And all the other third-gen groups have rather disbanded, been pushed to the side by other groups, or still popping but not as much as they used to. The same goes to second-gen groups. They have mostly disbanded, lost a bunch of members, or are hanging on by a thread. All their fans have left Kpop or are close to leaving. No one even cares about the solos artists that once came from big groups, and if they still have hype, it's not the same. Kpop used to be so cool with fun reactions to other artists, a lot of interactions between different groups and different genders. Isaac used to be lit and everything was just brighter and more lively. I just think Kpop got too big and companies along with their idols have gotten really cautious thanks to online haters, new Delulu fans and scandals. My third opinion is 2 opinions in one. First, Soyeon from G-Idol is not a goddamn racist and y'all barely care about cultural appropriation. So I am a G-Idol fan as of right now, they are my alt group. Sorry BTS, but since they are my alt group, I guess you can consider me biased, but what I'm saying is my truth and maybe even the truth. Soyeon has become a literal punching bag for anybody that isn't a fan of her or G-Idol. Like, if you literally search her name in Twitter, the very first thing that pops up is racist, and it's been that way for months. If you're a new fan or someone that doesn't know the girls, can you imagine how off-putting that might be? Like, there are some people that actually think Soyeon is a deadass racist, and those people are called clowns. Let me give you all a list of things that Soyeon has done that has given her the title of a racist. Idol wore henna in the latter music video. She made a song called Señorita, and that's seen as culture appropriation. During the 2019 Golden Disc Awards, the girls danced in front of a mosque. During Queendom, while talking about concept, Soyeon suggested ethnic hip as something they should try. From what I know, this is all the things that makes Soyeon a so-called racist as of right now. Now let me talk about these things real quick before I put my 2 cents in. The henna in the latter video. It's not my culture, so I'm not gonna speak on it. If people get offended by that, I feel like they have a right to be mad. With the Señorita song, a lot of people don't know that Soyeon met with someone of Latin descent in order to make the song in a correct way. The music video didn't have any cultural appropriation in it as far as I'm aware. It was just a poo-poo music video with product placement and things trying to kill the girls. Sorry, love you Idol, just didn't dig the MV. The only Latin culture I can spot in the song is the title and chorus, which is obviously the word señorita, and the instruments used for the instrumental for the song. Anyways, moving on. The mosque incident that happened during the Golden Disc Awards upset many people because they were dancing in front of a mosque in revealing clothing. I can only imagine how disappointing that must have been for the fans whose religion was disrespected. And I do think those fans have every right to be mad, but a bunch of people from other fandoms were so quick to blame Soyeon as if she went backstage to the producers of the award show and gave them a disc and said, do me a favor, while we perform Latita, use these pictures as our background. Like, you all do realize that Soyeon isn't usually in charge of things like that, right? The Golden Disc Awards apologized to fans for the background because they chose it cause they thought it matched the theme, even though the award show was the one who added the background. I still think it's Cube's fault for not checking or for not noticing that there was something wrong with that background. But let me just clarify one more time, Soyeon didn't have anything to do with that incident per se. I just feel bad that people had to see their place of worship be disrespected like that. For the last situation, and arguable the most controversial, the ethnic hip incident. Honestly, this has to be one incident I do feel like Soyeon is at fault. She did mess up big time for this, and as a person of color, that's also a fan, I was looking at my screen like. So after the whole ethnic hip situation, everyone started calling Soyeon a racist. I would be okay if people used the words disrespectful, uneducated, ignorant, offensive and even problematic, but I personally don't think Soyeon is a full-out racist. I've seen actual racism. I've experienced actual racism. My family and friends have experienced actual racism, and someone suggesting ethnic hip as a concept isn't racist, it's just stupid. People say Soyeon takes different cultures and tries to make it her own or use it for a concept, and with some comebacks like Latita, Han and Senorita, I think that's fair. It's ignorant as hell, but it's not actually racist. There's a difference between me walking down the street with box braids and Soyeon seeing me saying, girl, that's so cool, I would like to use it for my ethnic hip concept. Then me walking down the street and her saying, those braids are ghetto, you look so ratchet like the dirty African you are. That's why Koreans are better than black people, because we're clean and your people aren't. Now that's racism. If Soyeon said or did something like that, y'all better trend Soyeon is racist like there's no tomorrow. No matter how much I love Soyeon, I think she is kind of ignorant, and even though I know she doesn't do it purposely, she really needs to be educated ASAP. But I do also think people jump the gun too much and are quick to blame something on her and call her a racist. Some people might say in the comments, chill out, no one actually thinks Soyeon is really a racist. It's just an inside joke, and to that I say, is racism a joke to you? Is my people's pain some joke you can use on Twitter? And I would also say you're purposely slandering someone's name just for the fun of it. I was telling my one friend who's new to K-pop about Soyeon's rapping once, and she was so confused because she thought that Soyeon hated black people, since she always saw people calling her racist on Twitter. So now that I've explained her past controversies, let's get down into the nitty-gritty. Some of y'all really don't care about culture appropriation. Y'all pretend to care until it's your faves, then you have every excuse in the world to why what they did wasn't problematic. I know what y'all are thinking. But Jimin's pinky toe, you sound like a hypocrite. I know I do, but I'm not. What I did with Soyeon was talk about how she's not an actual racist and how some of the things that people blame on her aren't actually her fault while other things are, and I stand by everything I just previously said. But I've seen people roast Soyeon for being quote unquote racist but stan Mamamoo with Hwasa as their biased. Like, you have no room to talk, sis. Once on Twitter I got into a fight with someone who called Soyeon a racist ugly rat. But then I went to their account and it was a bunch of tweets defending Bangshan when he got cornrows because he thought it fit the concept they were doing. The person I was fighting with was literally telling people to leave him alone and was saying how cute he looked in them. Like, girl, come on now, make it make sense. Can we all just be honest for a second? Most of our faves have done something problematic where others have a right to be mad at them. Like if you stan BTS, EXID, 2NE1, GOT7, Hwasa, Stray Kids. Oh my girl, some members of NCT, Twice, Blackpink, EXO, Big Bang and others, you have no right to drag Soyeon through the dirt like she's the most racist problematic person in K-pop ever unless you do the same with your faves. Like the groups and people I just listed have done some whack ass shit and you chose to forgive, forget and defend, so what's your problem with Soyeon? Most of the idols I just listed have said the N-word, have done cultural appropriation too, stereotyped and clowned black people along with other cultures, for example DC culture. Made fun of darker skin complexion and other things, but they have been forgiven. And I'm not telling you that you shouldn't forgive those idols because you are your own person, but I'm just saying, why does Soyeon have to be your punching bag when your idol has done the same, if not worse? Some of you pick and choose who to cancel and get mad at. Keep the same energy, that's all I'm saying. And going back to what I said earlier about some of you guys not caring about cultural appropriation, I really mean that. You know how much people I've seen on Twitter who bashed Soyeon, but then after she made the song, oh my god, they said they're standing now and they take back everything they said about Soyeon. Like, honey, like if you think or thought that Soyeon was a racist, why does her putting out a good song make you forgive her? Like, make it make sense. Just say you jumped on the hate bandwagon for no reason and you never really cared about the issue and you joined in the hate for fun. Clowns, all of you. So my fourth opinion kinda has to do with Soyeon again, but it's that some of your guys' double standard is be showing sometimes. Do you know how much people bash on Soyeon cause they think she's a rude bitch? Or because she outshines the group? Or because she gets the most lines? Like you guys really like to hate on this girl. I'm using Soyeon for this opinion because I'm a stan of the group, so I know what I'm talking about. Soyeon is known to be outspoken with her thoughts. She also likes to joke around and clown some of the members, mostly Yuki, whom she loves. She says that's how she is because she doesn't want to be fake and just likes to be open with people. So since she's being herself, a lot of people think that she's a complete bitch or hates her members. G-Idol has said many times that they all gets along very well and that some people really don't understand how close they really are. Do you know how many idols are faking their personality? Like some of these idols have different personalities behind closed doors and put on an act when the attention is on them. And just because Soyeon does the opposite cause she's a genuine person, some people really like to think she's a bully. When male idols do this, it's called being a savage. Like Dio from EXO, Yoongi from BTS, Jin from GOT7 and many other male idols have a personality where they say what's on their mind and they love to tease their members in a fun way, and the fans will eat that shit up and say stuff like OMG Yoongi is such a savage, or LOL, Dio making fun of Chanyeol is so funny, or Jin Oppa is so honest I love him. But as soon as Soyeon does the same thing, people claim she gives off a bitchy vibe. Do you know that many people compare her to Jimin from AOA? Like, baby, no, two different people. Like, please make it make sense. Soyeon literally once got hate because she was the only one sitting in a chair for photos while G-Idol was doing a photoshoot. Well, she's the goddamn leader. Is it problematic to sit in a chair? Like, Minnie also sat in a chair for a different photo shoot and no one said shit. But if Namjoon did that with BTS, no one would care, right? That's what I thought. I'm gonna bite my tongue about the opinion that Soyeon outshines the group and the complaints about the line distribution because I think I've talked about Soyeon too much in this video and I'll just save it if I do a part 2. Next opinion, shipping. Oh yes, shipping idols, a part of K-pop that some people take way too far. I personally don't ship idols. I do think to myself from time to time which idols I think would be a cute match, but I think about that and move on. Some people really be taking their ship too far and be swearing on your life you think some idols are secretly married to each other. Like some people have T-Cook tattoos. No honey, I'm sorry to tell some of you guys T-Cook is not real. Sorry to break some of your hearts, but they're just best friends. Like deadass romantic ships between group members are weird as hell to me. They've lived together for years and know everything about each other, so of course they're gonna be close. So the next time one member of a group slaps another's ass, just remember that's nothing big to them since they grew up with each other. That's just the closeness of the two showing. It doesn't mean they be getting it on in the dorms at night. The ships between male and female idols of different groups be weird to me as well. Like, how do you guys even start believing a ship? Is it because you think idols would look good together, so you're shipping off of attractiveness? Or do you want to believe that your faves would be a cute couple just because they're your faves? Anyways, some of the ships you guys believe in could be real, but let's face it, it would be a very small chance. Like, some people would have bet money that Jimin was dating Jennie, but no, she was just dating one of his best friends. People swore that Yoongi and Jihyo had something going on. No, she was dating Daniel the whole time. And let's face it, some idols are probably part of the LGBT community, so when you ship and male and female idol, it's like you don't even know what gender they're really into. And y'all will use anything as quote-unquote evidence to prove your ship is real. Like, for example, last year I saw someone on Instagram say that Jimin and Dahyun from Twice were for real dating, and one of the proofs that they had was because Dahyun had her purple hair and it matched the purple suit Jimin had on. I'm not joking. Like, what type of proof was that? Did you forget that they have stylists? And hair matching a piece of clothing isn't proof for shit. But what I want to talk about is not so much about the shipping, but instead the way you guys need to be quiet with your ships. What I mean by that is, please, I'm begging you, do not bring the shit to your idols. Attention. Like, damn. Don't tag your idols in edits or shipping videos. If you're a BTS stan, don't bring your ships onto Weverse. Don't DM any idols to ask if a ship is real. Don't leave comments underneath their posts. Don't go to concerts with banners. Don't ask them when you meet them. Like, don't do any of that. If you ship idols, cool, keep that to yourself and in your ship's community, but don't bring it to their attention. It'll make them very uncomfortable. I even suggest if you're on Twitter, don't use their actual names but instead using the ship names, because I feel like idols do type in their names on Twitter and stuff to see what people are saying about them. And can you imagine if an idol like Jungkook typed in his name on Twitter and after a couple minutes of scrolling he finds a bunch of drawing of him doing sexual things with one of the members, or a video analyzing him and Taehyung's interactions? Like, could you imagine what that would do to his relationship with some of his members or his opinion on us the fans? He would be mortified. Imagine if that was you seeing that about yourself. I know many people can think I'm not one to talk cause I make BTS fan fictions, but I don't tag my videos with BTS or any of the members' names, so unless BTS types in BTS Jimin FF on YouTube, I'm fine. They're not gonna see shit. Like I said, I don't really have a problem with ships, but don't shove it down your idols' throats because it can make them feel weird. Look at what happened to Louis and Harry Styles. They hated the Larry ship and felt super uncomfortable about it. Louis even said that it ruined their friendship. My sixth opinion is that a lot of companies are queerbaiting now. I'm gonna keep this one short, but a lot of companies are adding scenes in music videos of idols almost kissing and other things along those lines. Choreographers add a little fan service in the choreographies, like one member choking another, or two members getting really close and all that jazz. I know some companies and choreographers don't queerbait on purpose and they add these scenes in the MV or dance moves because they just want to, but I know some do it because the fans like it. They know if they get two idols to almost kiss in a MV, some fans will tweet things like OMG my faves are LGBT queens. Revolutionary. Do you know what I mean? So even though that might not always be the intention, I feel like sometimes they just throw a little moment with the members to get people talking, or because they know a lot of people like that stuff. For the next unpopular opinion, you guys have to listen to what I'm saying so you don't get the wrong idea, but the opinion is that dating in K-pop is in fact a scandal. This is less like an opinion and more of a pet peeve of mine. What I mean by this is I see so many people talking about a dating scandal in a YouTube video and they'll be like, I don't consider this a scandal because dating is normal and should not be looked down upon. I agree that dating is a normal thing and idols need to stop being shamed for this, but you'll have to understand, even though dating isn't a big deal, some people still don't want it to be normalized in K-pop, even though it should be. Since dating is still not yet normalized, if two idols get caught dating then it's a scandal. People will get mad. Companies will release statements. Some idols even apologize. Companies' stocks can go down and a whole bunch of other stuff can happen, which makes dating a scandal no matter how much you say it isn't. You guys have to understand that there will always be people who won't be okay with their faves having a relationship with someone who isn't them or the person they ship them with. So when those people leave the fandom or mature idols, dating won't be considered a scandal anymore. So in conclusion, what I'm saying is if you're making a YouTube video about the pop scandals, for example, and you say that you won't be including idols dating because it shouldn't be a scandal, so you don't include that in the video, is dumb. Just because it shouldn't be a scandal doesn't mean it isn't. This opinion might be a little controversial, but it has to be said. Cube didn't do anything wrong by kicking out E'Dawn and Hyuna. Before you attack me in the comments, just listen to what I have to say. Like I said earlier, I have no problems with two idols dating. I never have and I never will, but I see a lot of people hating on Cube, and one of the biggest reasons is for them kicking Hyuna and E'Dawn out of the company for dating. But you guys know that they were dating for about 2 years before they came out as a couple, right? Cube didn't kick them out for dating. They kicked them out because after the company came out and said they weren't dating, Hyuna was like, no, we actually are. And for 2 years at that. I understand why she did it and I don't hate her for doing it, but you all have to understand what Cube did from a business perspective. Imagine you're the head of a company and you're trying to reassure the public that the two of your most profitable idols aren't in a relationship, just for them to expose you in front of everybody. That's not only embarrassing, but it's not a good business look. Imagine if you lied to your parents and told them that you were at your best friend's house studying, but instead you were actually at a party. Your parents were kind of skeptical about everything, but right when they were about to let it slide, your so-called best friend exposes you and says that not only were you at a party, you were doing cocaine as well. You would be pissed, am I right? I don't think it was right for Cube to make Hyuna and E'Dawn's relationship a secret because that must have been stressful for them. But you can't 100% be mad at Cube for kicking them out after they just discredited the company's liability to not only the public but to investors of the company. Maybe Cube had their reasons for wanting them to keep their mouths shut. Maybe they didn't want to say anything because Pentagon were just about to take off and E'Dawn was the most popular member with the most stage presence and they didn't want there to be a dating scandal right when they were about to make it big. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Hyuna and E'Dawn leave Cube before the company even had the chance to kick them out? I'm not bashing Hyuna and E'Dawn for anything. I'm just saying you guys can't make it seem like Cube just didn't want to see idols in love so they kicked them out for dating. When in actuality they allowed them to date. They kicked them out for breaking contract and making the company look like a fool. Okay, for my final opinion is, an idol's mental health shouldn't be a debate. I know that some of you will be thinking, well duh, that's not an unpopular opinion, but if you listen you might find out that you've done this yourself. I'm going to be using Taehyung from BTS as an example. This has happened for a while, but I've seen this mostly during On era. A lot of people were saying how Taehyung seemed to be sad or depressed. And a bunch of fans came at those people saying that he was fine and that he just looks sad when he isn't smiling and he's just matured. I never really said anything about that topic because I didn't want to assume that he was sad but he was actually as happy as a newborn puppy. Or I didn't want to say he was fine but on the inside he was struggling. I think we all saw a change in Tae, but I just don't think it was our place to say anything. BTS recently came out with another one of those movies they do. I can't remember which one it was, but Taehyung was talking about how he sometimes gets really depressed. That just shows that you never know what your idol is going through. So all the people who were so quick to jump and say he was fine, was he really? What I'm trying to say is there are just some things we shouldn't talk about, even if you don't mean it in a certain way. If an idol comes out and says they have something like depression, anxiety or anything like that, then as fans we should be there to send them love and words of encouragement. But, all the speculating until then needs to stop because you don't know what's going on in an idol's head. I've seen people on Twitter go on rants about how fine Taehyung was. Imagine if you're Taehyung on Twitter and you see one of your fans ranting about how okay you are when you really might not be doing that well. I remember in late November I started to get really depressed over a bunch of bullshit that was happening around me and I started to change. I began only wanting to be in my room. I became quiet. I didn't smile as much. I started to hate being around people. I began to hate people in general. I never left my house. I had suicidal thoughts and I was just overall really depressed. The only people that knew at the time were two of my closest friends. To my family I was fine. My aunts, brothers, uncles, and other family members told me I've changed. They said I needed to smile more because I looked too sad. They said I needed to be more excited to see them and not be in my room all the time. I didn't want to be around them, so they just thought I was weird and had changed, which isn't wrong, I guess. My older brother still till this day complains to the rest of my family that I'm in my room too much and I'm too sad. One of my cousins even asked me if I was emo. All of them talking about my mental health and how I was acting made me so angry. It made me want to punch them in their face. And that's my family. That was just some of my family members doing that to me. Now imagine if I was an idol and millions of my fans were commenting underneath a stage encore that I needed to smile more and all that jazz. My family started to ask my mom and dad if I was fine, which they always used to say I just liked to be in my room cause I was a teenager. And I would always think to myself like, well yeah, but I'm also just really sad and have anxiety now. Now again, imagine if you're an idol with depression and you see your fans claim that you're okay. Now it might feel like you have to hide your actual feelings to make them happy. Anyways, I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say. An idol's mental health should just never be up for discussion until they tell us how they feel. And then at that point all we could and should do is support them. Okay, well those were my unpopular K-pop opinions. I think I was pretty tamed with my opinions. I'm holding back my more controversial ones just in case I decide to make a part 2. Was this video too long? My bad if it was. I hope this doesn't flop or this all would have been a huge waste of time. Anyways, I hope most of you guys don't hate me, and remember, if you disagree with any of opinions or just want to give your 2 cents and just comment what you need to say in a respectful way. I will not tolerate any disrespect. Catch y'all later.